I'm on one right now. How y'all doing? Final Fantasy 1. You may expect the first game in the franchise to be so old, outdated, and archaic that it's simply not worth your time. Surprisingly, nothing could be further from the truth. The very first Final Fantasy game, in whatever way you choose to play it, throughout the 300 different re releases on every single system ever made, is actually one of the better Final Fantasy games. For the sole regard that it does the main thing that I want out of a Final Fantasy game, and that is the freedom of self expression. It's one of my favorite parts of Final Fantasy games, and you'll see why going forward. Final Fantasy 1 doesn't even have a standard party. It has four characters, and you choose what jobs they are. And throughout the years, people have done all kinds of crazy things with it. There's people that casually play through this game with a party of four white mages. You can actually do that in this game, and it works. Personally, I prefer warrior, thief, two red mages, because they end up with paladin, ninja, and two red wizards. And I'm just gonna say it: red mage is the best job in Final Fantasy One. It's funny. Red mage is supposed to be like the job that does everything, but it's not great at any of them. In Final Fantasy One, that's kind of not the case at all. Red mage is overpowered and busted. Sure, maybe they don't get the highest level magic, but when you're able to spam lightning 2, fire 2, ice 2 to level grind with, and unlike a black mage who can melee for 5 damage, your red mages are typically going to get all your hand-me-downs from your warrior or your paladin. Oh hey, I don't need this ice brand anymore. My red mage can use this frickin' gigantic 8-foot-long sword made of ice. Guess how much damage that deals to fire-based enemies? It's a freaking lot. Red Mage can more than melee in Final Fantasy 1. It's excellent at meleeing. It doesn't have to use its magic. So when you're level grinding, something you're probably going to spend 70% of your time doing playing Final Fantasy 1, Red Mage shows up the freaking party, man. It is just so effing good. Their gear choices and accessibility, the amount of MP they get, and oh man, MP in Final Fantasy 1 is different than every other Final Fantasy. It's actually Dungeons and Dragons style. You don't just have a mana bar or a mana pool. It's not like I have 300 max MP and I cast this thing that costs 50, and so now I have 250 MP. Every spell takes a charge. Everything only takes 1 MP from a different tier of magic. You have up to 8 different tiers of magic, and you have MP associated with each tier. So it's not like if you play with a black mage, for example, oh, I cast nuke a couple times. I don't have any MP left to cast anything because I used all my MP casting my strongest spell. No, you're just out of your highest level mana. Now you can go through your level 7, 6, 5, 4, and keep going down and have mana charges the whole time. You can't screw yourself out of MP because you cast it on something that like a buff or something. It's all segregated into different types of mana, and that just makes mages a lot more interesting. And I've always been frustrated that no other Final Fantasy game does that. I mean, honestly, I complain about tactics. I would absolutely go ape dookie if Final Fantasy Tactics just used Final Fantasy One's MP system. I would change my tune on that game immediately if that one change was in place. Anyway, I mean, this is where Bahamut got his start. There's all kinds of things that started in Final Fantasy One and persisted throughout the rest of the series. With one exception that sadly ended in the next game on the list here, Final Fantasy 3. I actually like Final Fantasy 3 a lot, and I suggest if you play it, you should really play the DS remake of it, because the Famicom version is, well, clunky, to say the least. But the DS version is refined. It's hype. It looks great, sounds great, plays great. It's the definitive way to play Final Fantasy 3. And as I was mentioning, in Final Fantasy 1, the thief turns into the ninja. The warrior turns into the paladin. The monk turns into the master. In Final Fantasy III, the master, or the black belt, makes a return as the super monk job that you unlock later on in the game. And this is the last time that a advanced or evolved or superior monk class or job was ever in a Final Fantasy game. The reason that's so upsetting to me is because I love that job in Final Fantasy III. The way Final Fantasy III works is that when you level up a job and gain affinity with it, instead of in Final Fantasy II, where you gained affinity with weapons and magic, in Final Fantasy III, you gain affinity with a job, and therefore everything associated with that job becomes better by leveling it up. My only complaint is that only the mages learn new magic. Combat melee jobs, they don't get new passives, they don't get new commands in battle or anything. So that's kind of a drag. But the Master Monk, the black belt, once you get that thing up to a really high affinity rating, it actually does more damage barehanded than it does using any possible weapon. Even the ultimate monk weapon, it's stronger with its bare damn hands. I mean, I spent all this time leveling up all these other jobs and getting all this ultimate gear and making sure that everything is hype as it can be. And it's like, oh yeah, they did about 5,000 damage on an attack. That's pretty good. Master Monk over here with no damn weapon does 9,600 damage with a regular attack. And nothing. No buffs, no debuffs on the enemy. Just comes right in and deals max damage with his bare hands. Please, Square. Please make another job-based Final Fantasy, and please bring back Master Monk. What's wrong with you? Final Fantasy III is also the origin of tons of other great jobs that have continued on and carried the flavor of Final Fantasy throughout time. We got Dark Knight starting here, we got Summoner starting here, and probably most importantly, Dragoon. This is where it finally got the legendary symbolic class job action of jumping. And man, when they give it to you, they really want you to freaking use it. As soon as you unlock Dragoon, you gotta fight this Garuda-ass boss thing that the only thing it does is flap its wings and throw tornadoes at your entire party and does tons of damage. It does so much damage that it's basically impossible to heal through. You want to know how you beat it? You just make your entire party Dragoons and you spam jump. Oh look, we're all off the screen. Oh, you did your tornado thing? Jump, 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 jump. Wow, you just took a ton of damage. We're all gonna jump again. Oh look, you missed us again, and we tore your head off. I love that fight. It's one of a lot of the fights in Final Fantasy III are kind of designed to try and make you try out the new jobs you just got. But that one almost forces you to use a party of Dragoons because there's no reason not to. Even with no affinity on it, you just got it. It's tier 1. It wrecks this boss and you will not take damage. Jump is overpowered in Final Fantasy III. It's so stupid. Because Final Fantasy III doesn't have an ATB system like future Final Fantasy games. It is turn-based entirely. So you always know exactly when you're going to jump and when you're going to come down to dodge the enemy's attacks. Excuse me. The story in Final Fantasy III, though, maybe it's a little weird. Maybe it's a little just okay, I mean, I guess this is happening. But when you look at the future of Final Fantasy games, particularly Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV, where do you think they got the idea for the Warriors of the Darkness? You have the Warriors of Light, right? That are always there for but then you have the Warriors of Darkness. That actually began in Final Fantasy III. So you got to give it props for that, coming up with that concept, because it's brought about some really awesome story and plot lines in the MMOs that came out way later. So that's pretty tight. Also, Final Fantasy III is where the Sage job comes from. Not something you see in too many Final Fantasy games. In fact, off the top of my head, I know it's in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2. Sage is one of the jobs that a new Mo can become. But as a whole, Sage is almost entirely absent from the rest of Final Fantasy because they realize that maybe a job that can cast every white and black magic spell and has basically limitless MP is a little freaking broken. And then they made Scholar in Final Fantasy XI. I don't care what anyone says. Scholar is just Sage from Final Fantasy III. It's a busted, overpowered mage, dude. Anyway, that's what I got for you for right now. We're about to get into the Final Fantasy games that I have very high opinions of. So just keep going. Why not? Again, thanks for listening. I appreciate your time. God bless.